Welcome to SAM Conversation, a program of South Asia Monitor. Our topic today is to discuss a book, The India Century Vision 2047. This has been authored by Brig Ashok Pathak, retired. He served in the Corps of Signals, the branch of the army which provides communications, both line and radio, and as well as also nowadays some cyber communication also. His earlier two books, very interesting, are India's Strategies for Information War and Cyber Deterrence. And the other one is Unified Theatre Command, Breaking Free of Military Silos. Brigadier Pathak, would you please start by giving us what inspired you to write this particular book? Because it's a little different from your earlier two books, which are quite military. And thereafter, we request you to elaborate on it further.
Thank you, Colonel Anil. Firstly, it is quite a privilege to be talking to you, who is involved in spreading this kind of knowledge base to the environment. Coming straight to your question, what inspired me? This book, as you know, is sponsored by Bharat Global Industry Forum. This is a group of big industries, Indian industries, more than 1,000 crore turnover and more. They have global footprint, and their mission is to create or to make India a manufacturing hub for the globe. If you go back to the Vision 2047 statement, one of the pointer there is to make Indian goods and products famous worldwide and to become the global hub for manufacturing. So their primary aim is to improve processes, to enhance indigenization, to do handholding of SMEs, and to create an environment of entrepreneurship among the society so that India grows through its ancient and traditional methods of entrepreneurship and not by job seekers. So that is as far as the inspiration from BGIF was concerned. As a matter of fact, they wanted me to write on economy. But you would agree with me that economy by itself is not much of a factor for a nation to be counted among the global community. Because political economy drives geopolitical status, and geopolitical status requires military powers, internal security and military power to sustain it. So that is how I suggested to them that writings just on economy may not serve your purpose, because you are talking of not your industry or not of making money or GDP numbers. You are talking about India. And India encompasses the citizen, the political economy, the security of the citizen from external and internal factors, and its geopolitical status, so that we have independence in choosing our strategic approach, or you can say autonomy of choice. So that is how the book came into shape.
Well expressed. And I'm glad you brought out that economy can be good only if the security of the country is sound. In earlier years, earlier decades, there often used to be this thing, argument, guns or butter. And whenever I argued this, I said, you won't have any butter if you don't have guns. Simple. you have an interesting, uh, collection of topics in your from your contents. Um, you begin with the introduction, challenges, um, and then economy, military power, geopolitics. Very relevant, all very relevant today. Um, Please briefly elaborate on each of them, beginning with your introduction.
Okay. The introduction, if you read it, is very interesting because we got independent in 1947. And we were among the 40 odd countries, 40, 45 countries who got independent around that time. But there is some uniqueness in our independence. Firstly, we were the only, I think, must be the only country which got partitioned into two after independence. That is one. A more dangerous phenomena was that after independence, we kept our ruling masters with us for more than a year. Especially in
But
the
yes,
military,
absolutely,
we
absolutely.
had
Most
our,
important, most
yeah,
important. When we had the first India-Pakistan war, the Indian Army chief was a Britisher.
yeah,
The Pakistan Army chief was also a Britisher.
yes,
And between the two of them, it was a fixed match. It was a fixed match, obviously very deterrent to Indian Army.
yeah, good. You brought out this point. I'll just elaborate on this because how much of damage did it cost? In 1947, we had much superior armor, organized infantry divisions. We had one of the best air force in the world around that time. And rather than chasing the insurgents or tribals in the mountainous terrain of Jammu and Kashmir, we should have gone straight away into the plains of Punjab. A normal military mind would have done this. Incidentally, General Nathu did suggest this. The tribals would have run away from there had we captured the things in plains. And once or twice, the Indian Prime Minister at that time did mention that since Pakistan has dared to enter our territory, that is Jammu and Kashmir, we are free to enter their territory anywhere. But he did not do that. And the reason you brought out is the same because both sides were the Britishers. So this is one thing which we in 2014, I will straight away go to 2014 from 47 now. There's an article in Guardian, 18 May, and that said that the Britishers have finally left India. Now, this date is 18 May 2014. How many years after independence? So this is what I brought out in introduction part, that our economic processes, our military thinking, our customs and traditions we followed the Britisher legacy. And what did the Britisher give us to earn all this? Because they
They
looted us.
trisected us. They trisected us.
Yes,
They made sure that
yeah,
it was given. India was independence was given to us in pieces.
yes.
Run
And more than
the
that,
partition that followed.
yeah, they
It
killed
was
our trade, they killed our farming techniques, they killed our thinking, they killed our education system. And Shashi Tharoor's book, if he mentioned it very clearly,
yes,
trillions of dollars that they looted. And after suffering so much from the British, kowtowing the British line and following their policy was quite a disaster. I'm not going political on this, but it was quite a disaster. And from 1947 to 1976, our economy actually did shrink because the rate at which the population grew, the economy did not grow with that rate.
mm,
We became from poor to poorer. From 1976, slum changes started taking place. We started growing at 4.5. 1991, IMF forced on us liberalization. But the steady growth started happening after 2014 when the Guardian thought that the Britishers have finally left. We started talking of our own heritage. which was a taboo earlier. We started giving incentive to entrepreneurship. We started to value the wealth creators, the private sector, and the we started to liberalize the citizen. Uh, I mean, you can say, attestation was brought in. More and more laws were brought into the system, which liberated the citizen to conduct their own activities. So this system continued, and the acid test for this system was during the COVID period. In COVID, nobody expected India to come out of it unscathed. They actually predicted that billions will die. India has no chance. But we surprised everybody by producing a vaccine which has been the best in the world, by distributing that vaccine free of cost to people who needed them, who didn't want to make profit, that is the Indian values, by distributing food to the countries who had suffered. So India came out of COVID in a manner that surprised the rest of the world. And we haven't looked back after that. So this is what is something which I clarified in the introduction before I came to the topic of economics as such, the macroeconomic or political economic that we need to follow. So you want me to continue the economy or any other question before that?
No, please. You were very well brought out some points, about how for 7 decades, even after 76, 76 was a hallmark, landmark here. But even after that, uh, as you said, I'm not a political person, neither are you, but we are analysts about the country's well-being, the country's security, particularly in military terms. And I think there were tremendous amount of compromises on this till 2014. Terrorism was one thing which Pakistan started dishing out to us. Cut, million cuts.
Yes.
Whatever, as Ziaul Haq said, and we kept our choices of options were so weak. Anyway, again, we won't go too much into that, but economy is making a lot of news now. Please elaborate a bit on that.
Yeah. The economic front, the Vision 2047 is very, very ambitious, I would say, because it is talking of 30 trillion GDP by 2047. Though the Prime Minister in his debate, he mentioned 10 trillion. I read Arvind Barmani's paper today. So there is some dilution in that, scaling down in that. But the vision is that by 2047, we will reach 30 trillion dollars. As far as the gross GDP is concerned, and GDP per capita would be around $18,000 per person. This, okay, again, Arvind Varmani now says that it will be between 15,000 to $18,000 dollars GDP per capita. But in this book, I've gone a little further as far as economy is concerned, because economy is not about GDP, it is not about GDP per capita. It is how you are achieving that GDP. GDP per capita is a data which hides a lot. How is the wealth distributed amongst people? What is the happiness quotient of these people? How is the government responsible to the people of India? How are the people of India productive, educated, healthy? All these things come in the ambient of citizen-centric security. Now, the paper 2047 vision does bring out all these factors in economy. But here I must say that the challenges are tremendous. Because let's look at the economic landscape as it exists today. We'll go by the Western model only. Bulk of our GDP contribution is by big corporate houses, very big corporate houses. We have almost 63 to 70 million of SMEs. These SMEs contribute around 11, 12, very marginal thing to the GDP when compared to just 1 to 2% of big corporate houses. This data shows that there is tremendous amount of, should I say, inefficiency or lack of productivity or lack of commitment amongst the SMEs. Again, in the corporate houses, our expenditure on research and development is very poor. It is, I don't know whether I should use the word, it is very shameful that we don't spend on research and development. Because other countries, for example, China, spend 2.4 to 3% of GDP on research and development in new technology. Israel, a small country, spends more than 3%. US spends a lot on research and development. Because if you have to grow at that kind of a pace, then you should be going into the new products, new technologies. In the BCG matrix, there are 4 quadrants. One quadrant is question mark. You don't know what is happening there. That is research and development. Second quadrant is star. New technology has just come up. You exploit that technology. Third is cash cow. No, we are primarily into cash cow. Something which has been proven, something which will get obsolete in due course of time, but we are making money there. So our expenditure in R&D is low. Bulk of our industries are primarily interested in the cash cow sort of thing. Our SMEs are not that productive as they should be. Now, this is as far as the Western model is concerned.
I
But
will,
SMEs have to stay. SMEs are important. There
I
are
will
people who are
at
giving
this stage,
employment. We can't do away with SMEs. Actually, they are the biggest employers of manpower. They employ a lot of people. They promote
there's,
entrepreneurship. Startups come. So
there's
what?
oil and tea there. There's very major resources.
Yes, yeah. For example, in defense
There's more,
sectors,
but basically for long it has been oil and tea.
yeah, for defense sectors, SMEs are doing a wonderful job. What we need to do is to give them the technical and managerial know-how so that their productivity increases. In the book, I mentioned that even if there is doubling of their productivity, incidentally, in productivity, we fare very low. Earlier on, the Germans were the best productivity was German. Then the Japanese took over them. Today, Norway is more productive than us, but our laborers or our people work 47 hours in a week. The Norwegians work half of this, but they are more productive.
Yes,
So
yes.
this is where we need to work on, give them technical know and managerial things. And SMEs should stay. They should become more productive. They should be hand holding should be done by the major corporate houses and research centers. And we must spend more in research, more by the education department and the industry. The government is spending, and the government is spending in defense. Let's face it, Bell, HAL, they are spending research and they are exporting also. We've gone to almost 30,000 crore in defense export. But this kind of thing is not happening in the private sector. This is my take on the economy part, the challenges, and what we need to do.
Thank you. Now, your other two portions of military and geopolitics, I think there's a lot of relationship in between them, which has come to light very much so ever since this Persian Gulf, ever since Mr. Trump started, uh, you know, taking off against Iran, which he
Yes.
thought he could treat like Venezuela,
Yeah.
and how we have held our own
Yes.
in this is the time when we sent a naval group of two. We only have two aircraft carriers. We sent both of them there,
Yeah.
and we sent these two, sea battle groups,
Yeah.
which left no doubt that I think to treat us with a bit of respect,
Yeah.
to
Yes.
put mildly, because this was not always the case in the past.
Yes.
Uh, we've been able to withstand also a lot of the turbulence, not just of water, the turbulence of oil and the turbulence of economy. The way
Yeah.
Mr. Trump is, उछाल दिया ये जब चाहा सीजफायर कर दिया थोड़ा
Yes.
कमा लिया, जब चाहे उसको बंद कर दिया. What he knows is that he better not. ईरानियन से पंगा लेना बहुत बहुत महंगा पड़ा है अभी तक.
Yeah.
एंड प्लीज.
As far as the military power is concerned, uh, from 2016, when we entered Myanmar, then 2000, around 18 or so, we did the Uri, 16, I think. 16, we did Uri, September. And then we did Balakot 2019. This was a gradual upgradation or calibrated increase of intensity of our response towards terrorism. But the watershed thing was removal of Article 370 and 35A,
नो
where
डाउट.
we told
नो
rest of the
डाउट.
world that, look, this is what we will do, and we don't worry about what you think. Then another aspect was brought in Operation Sindoor. Now, when this Pahalgam thing happened, if you recollect, when the Prime Minister came back from his foreign tour, the first thing he did was at Indira Gandhi International Airport was to hold a cabinet meeting and cabinet committee on security meeting later. And in Bihar election rally, he made that the perpetrators of this heinous crime will be punished to an extent that they can't imagine. Now, this kind of statement from an Indian Prime Minister, I don't remember has ever come so quick on the heels of an act of terrorism. And after that, what we did, the Indian Armed Forces
Yes,
did,
I think
was
you
something
as a
spectacular.
technical person, you will know much more about how much we've achieved in
Yes,
88 hours of Operation Sindoor.
yes. And see, the icing on the cake was Pakistan did everything under their power, whatever capabilities they had, and what
Yes.
Turkey and US and everybody supplied them to hit us hard. And our anti-drone systems, our Akash Tir and ACCCS, Air Force Command Control Communication System, this integrated network, call it ADCNR network, this thwarted their attacks. That means the defensive part of so-called Sudarshan Chakra. And after that, we hit them, which no other power could have imagined that we will go and hit them at Nur Khan. We'll hit them at Rahim Yar Khan. We'll hit them at Lahore. We'll hit them at Sargodha. It is a very
And we
highly
will hit
protected
them
area.
in such a way
Yeah.
that they need special equipment to see how much of nuclear,
Yes, yeah.
you know, what do you call it? The
Nuclear
after
radiations,
effects,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
radiations, the after
yeah,
effects of a nuclear
yeah.
explosion. Uh,
Because Noor Khan, for all practical purposes, was as an American base. And we knew this. Though, of course, Marshal Bharti said that we don't know what was therein. But the fighter pilot who went and did that, or those who fired the BrahMos, they knew exactly what it was there inside. And taking that kind of an initiative, knowing fully well that was going to happen in the international arena, was a very big step, or it was a statement, it was a message. And the veneer or the parda of US is our friend, etc., came out because US came openly in favor of Pakistan
So that,
after Noor Khan was.
Mr. Donald Trump he is solely responsible for sending the U.S. in India U.S. military relationship, hitting it very hard.
Yeah, yeah. So
He worked hard to do that.
what we need to do from now onwards, and I'm still on military power only, that Sindoor, all said and done, was not a major operation in that sense. We have so many infantry divisions, we have 3 armored divisions, we have so many squadrons of uh, fighter aircraft, we have a very big navy. 36 ships were breathing down the neck of Karachi and Gwadar. Though this power has not been synergized against an enemy like Pakistan so far. Uh, and one of the reason is this, that some of the old Montgomery type or Wavell type of military tactics have to be given way. And we have to come back to our Indian military thinking of aggressive or offensive defense, where we synergize our forces and strike with one single mission and one goal. Air Force can't have their own doctrine, and military, the ground forces, separate doctrine, Navy, separate doctrine. This is not going to work because today's war is whole of the nation approach war, and the least of it, the military needs to have jointness. There has to be one goal, one military goal for all three. Their method, of course, will be different because the platforms are different, their weapon systems are different, but the goals can't vary. The Air Force can't say that, okay, I am going to do counter air operations and you do your ground operation. No, these two
No,
operations,
no, no
whatever
doubt,
the
no doubt,
military does, ground
no doubt.
operations and Air Force operations have to synergize. They have to think together, plan together, act together. This has not been happening thanks to the British legacy again and the inertia which has set in. This I brought out in the military thing. And the second part is indigenization. So because many times we say that foreign equipment is good, bad, indifferent, and sixth generation, fifth generation aircraft, etc. Go back to 65, Sabre versus Net. If you look into the records, more Sabres were down by Net. Even HF-24
Absolutely,
down.
absolutely.
So our
Apart from the
indigenous,
fact that the ancient centurions were
yes,
were
yeah,
they
yeah,
destroyed a disproportionately large number of modern patterns, then modern
yeah,
patterns.
yeah.
Anyway,
The Battle of Asal
uh,
Uttar and the Battle of Dograi, these were the centurions who were fighting against the patterns. Shermans and centurions, they said they were obsolete tanks.
yes,
They
yes.
didn't have gun control, fire control systems. Patton
Hmm.
was the most modern at that time. And what happened in Khemkar and Asal Uttar, what happened in Battle of Dograi. So our faith in our indigenous system has to grow. We have to have our own. Whether we can be very
No
happy with
doubt, no
Nepal and
doubt,
all,
no doubt. Hmm.
sooner or later we have our own systems,
And we
and
have the capability.
we
We
have the
have the
capability.
capability.
Yeah.
We have we have a resource of the Indian industry,
Yes.
which can, I think, produce um, anything that
Yeah.
we require. We just need to be a little clear about. No, we need to have 20 systems from abroad and only 80.
That's
I
not
think we
going
have
to
to
work.
get over that because if we can have 80, we can have 100 also.
Because
So
in building on your indigenization, our own capabilities during Operation Sindoor, we developed our own directed energy weapons. We developed our own integrated network, which brought in all these Iglas and Shilkas and ZSU-23s and Pichoras. All these guns were brought into that network so that when the enemy drones were hit, we were not using our expensive Akash or S-400. We were using very inexpensive methods. Directed energy weapon is a laser weapon. That time range was 2 kilometers. We're developing 20-kilometer range now. Then Igla. I mean, during our service, we were saying Igla is almost 60, 70 years old. L60, L70 with Clive Hatcher radar. All these
like this a
legacy
great old
systems
man,
integrated.
great old man.
They were all integrated. So this is the
Yes.
capability we have, and we demonstrated in Sindhu. My suggestion here is that we need to synergize it at a macro level, a bigger level, where the three services, not only three various services, because cyber also comes in now, space comes in. All these things need to synergize to create that kind of impact.
I will very reluctantly, but because of a paucity of time, and I must thank you for a lot of very important aspects that were brought out, and it was. I think there's much more to, but because of paucity of time, we end here. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you.